Welcome to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast, brought to you by Jordan Nuance LLC and hosted by Dr. Renée Jordan. This podcast is a accumulation of Dr. Jordan's dissertation work and her passion for empowering Latinas, Afro-Latinas, Black women, and girls to navigate the academic and professional worlds with confidence and success. Whether you're a mother or a guardian guiding a child through grades 6 through 12, an undergrad or grad student, someone working on a dissertation or thesis, or simply looking to carve out your niche in the career landscape, this podcast is for you. Each episode, Dr. Jordan shares her story, offers invaluable advice, and provides practical coaching to help you thrive in school, work, and beyond. Join our community on patreon.com/BlackLiberationTech and become a member for as low as $5 per month. As a member, you'll gain exclusive access to live recordings, impromptu academic and career coaching, and a network of like-minded individuals committed to mutual support and success. You're also welcome to follow Black Liberation Tech on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Visit Black-Liberation.Tech for even more information on Dr. Jordan's adventure in Inglés o Español. Tune in, get inspired, and let's embark on this journey together. Welcome to Black-Liberation.Tech, where your success story begins. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast. I am your host, Dr. Renée Jordan, and today we're going to take a look at why you should check out Black-Liberation.Tech, both the podcast as well as the website, as well as who should listen to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast specifically. So with the Black-Liberation.Tech open educational resource, I say anyone who's interested in exploring how to prompt engineer. So if you're interested in getting to know how to frame questions in order to explore, I say go to the website and check it out in order to see how you can pose questions to ChatGPT or any other AI in order to get what you want from it. Now, in order to do so, I start off with a career exploration, but in essence, you can convert those questions to whatever you want it to be. Since it's an open educational resource, you're allowed to use it, remix it, make it your own, and share it with others. So definitely visit the site. It's spelled just like that, Black-Liberation.Tech, and check out the lessons. And from there, you can even ask an AI to convert whatever prompts I have into something that is more specific to your needs. You don't have to use them verbatim. If you know that you're interested in a specific field as opposed to a tech career or one of the emerging fields that is present, but you want to take a look at it from the standpoint of your own discipline, please feel free to make those modifications when you enter in the text. It's just a way to explore different careers as well as different ways of asking questions in order to get results that are more tailored to who you are as an individual as opposed to a generic response. As I stated, those who are interested in exploring career options, the first section of lessons are dedicated to taking a look at emerging fields, traditional fields, as well as your own interests and hobbies, and see what combinations you can come up with that will allow you to take a look deeper at the possibilities as far as career options. Now, I do have information on how to look up people who are in those fields and disciplines, as well as check out what jobs are available so that you can see for yourself, are they available in your area? Would you need to move somewhere else? You can even explore how to go from your current career to the next one. How can you build a portfolio? How can you build your resume? What projects can you do in order to demonstrate your skills to your next employer and use that as a digital artifact of your skills and abilities? So for those of you who are in school or have students of your own, and perhaps you're an aunt or a cousin who's looking out for a little person, whether that person is in 6th grade on up, I would recommend checking out the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast in order to get an idea of the different things that can be done to help you navigate the educational space. There are people who are new to these places because school just isn't what it was before. And so it's helpful to know what kinds of questions to ask your student, their teacher, the school, in order to find out what are the opportunities to help them along their way, whether that's getting additional resources, whether that's taking advantage of opportunities in after school programs or before school programs, summer school programs. I definitely recommend getting connected with guidance counselors yourself and not wait for the parent teacher conference, but be upfront and say, hey, I want to know what I can do to help my student get the best or the most out of their experience while they're in school, so that you're setting them up for success, not only during school, but once they graduate. Let them decide what it is that they want to do, but give them the tools, the resources, the experience, and the help that can allow them to take advantage of so many opportunities. Whether that is they decide to go to trade school, college, a community college, if they decide to join the military, or if they decide to go out and do their own venture. What kind of educational support do they need in order to get them to where they want to be? So whether it's you're navigating an academic journey or you have a student who's navigating their academic journey, I definitely recommend listening to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast. It's never too early to start exploring careers and talking about what students want to do when they grow up, or even right now. What is it that they want to do? What is it that they want to engage in? What opportunities do they want to invest their time in? And those conversations can help you navigate their educational journeys so that they're not just going through the system expecting the system to help them decide for themselves their choices, but couple up and see how you can partner with your educational system or your students in order to help them get to where they want to be, as well as partner with other opportunities outside of school and other spaces, whether it's a club or some kind of organization that works with students. There are many ways of getting involved that will help you shape your own future, as well as help support your students' future in terms of exploring things. Sometimes it's good to get exposed to a lot of things so that they can say to themselves, or you can say to yourself, you know what? I don't like that. I'm not quite interested in that. Sometimes it's not always that they know exactly what they want to do, but learning the things that they don't want to do. And so once again, I encourage anyone who's navigating, going to school, whether it's middle school, high school, college, etc., to take a look and listen to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast. Perhaps it'll help you think about what's happening in your life or the life of your student and things that you might want to consider. I tell my own story to help somebody else think about what it is they would want to do. Hey, you're welcome to listen just for listening's sake. Now, the other thing about the Black-Liberation.Tech website is that it is to help people or individuals to develop their digital and technical skills. And this is important. We are living in a day and age where you have to know tech to do anything. And even if that's just to take care of your own individual needs, whether that's school, work, or your own budget, your own household, it's important to know tech. And so if you're interested in developing your digital literacies, as you explore the lessons, it's going to allow you to take into consideration different content that you can use, produce, or even learn from in order to go further in your own interests and goals. Now, with the tech skills, specifically with prompt engineering, it allows you to cater to what it is that you want to do. It provides prompts to help you design projects so that you can work on your tech skills and seek out those places that can help you develop your skills further. Really, Black-Liberation.Tech is about asking the right questions in order to help you decide how to move forward in what it is that you want to do. So it's a guide. And then from there, you can go off and find those resources that are specific to you to help you move along your way. When you listen to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast, I do provide learning strategies for persistence and of how to avoid being overwhelmed. When you are goal-oriented, when you are someone who's interested in achieving goals that take a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of dedication, it is possible to feel overwhelmed. So in the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast, I provide strategies to help you navigate that space. How can you plan? How can you manage your time? How can you set time aside in order to just refresh, rejuvenate, and take a break? Also, how can you decide when to take a vacation? Do you actually consider what's going on, or do you just decide this is what I want to do and everything else is going to work around that because I've made a decision? That's the approach. The latter one is the one that I choose to take because there's never a good time for anything when you have a lot going on. So sometimes the decision that needs to be made is that this is going to happen on these days because I need to take control of what's happening in my life and in order to take care of myself. Because if I don't take care of myself, I'm not going to be any good to anyone else, let alone my own responsibilities that I have. So I would definitely suggest listening to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast in order to learn strategies for persistence. How do you keep going when the journey is long? I went to school for many years after high school, and I was able to keep going because I had questions. I was curious. I wanted to learn for myself. It really was about me. And that allowed me to persist. And so I tell my stories and talk about it. What were the questions that I asked? Who did I speak to in order to get some direction on where to go, how to approach learning, and what resources would help me along the way? On the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast, I also have a learning module that talks about how to take on a project and break it down into smaller pieces so that you can avoid feeling overwhelmed. How can you break things down into manageable, smaller pieces that accumulate into something great? And so once again, you can go to the site or you can listen to the podcast, and hopefully you'll be able to walk away with tools, strategies, resources to help you along your way. Another thing that the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast will allow you to walk away with, hopefully, would be to understand the value of community. It is important to have support from many places. When you rely on one person alone, they can't give you everything that you need. But when you are in community with others, whether that's religious organizations, school organizations, friendships, mentorships, apprenticeships. Note, all of these have ships. Any type of relationship that will help you along your way, whether that's helping you to talk out what you're interested in and ask questions, whether that is someone who can help you in terms of guiding you. They've been where you want to go, or they have guided others to where you want to go. These are different types of relationships that you can build in order to support you along your way. And when we're talking about community, it's important not to just take, but also to give. And sometimes when you're in school and if you're working full time at the same time, you might not be able to give back to each individual person the same amount that they give to you, and that's fine. But you should be personable. You should be kind. You should be observant. You should ask them if there's something that you can do for them. Perhaps it's sit down with them for 45 minutes and help them with their website, or help them with a project that they have going on, or help them think through something, give them advice, or simply ask about their day. Sometimes being kind and having cordial conversations can take you a long way when it comes to needing support for yourself. It doesn't take much to be kind to others. And so when you're kind to others, they're more likely to help you out, knowing that, hey, you know what? I'm going to pay this forward because somebody did this for me. And so as a result, I'm going to help this individual so they can get to where they want to go because somebody else did the same for me. And when they do that, be kind, be respectful, take their advice, implement their advice. At least try it so that the next time you go to them, you can say, hey, you know what? I tried it and this worked, or I tried it and I found that I needed to do X, Y, and Z. Or when I tried to do it, I found out that there were some other steps that I needed to take first. And so it's going to take me a little longer to implement the advice that you gave. One thing you don't want to do when you're building community is use people. You don't want to make them feel like you're just taking advantage of them or using them to just drop off your heavy luggage and walk away. Don't use people as trash cans. Be kind. If you need support because you are in a low place, seek out counseling, seek out therapy. Find those either free resources or the resources that you are already paying for as a result of your insurance and take advantage of those. Those people have the ability to provide you with the tools and the resources to help you where you are and to help you get to where you want to go. And the reason that's a good place to seek out is because at the end of the day, it's a relationship that has the purpose of specifically helping you get from where you are to another place, another desired place, and it's understood that you're not going to give back to the counselor. And you can leave that relationship when you've reached the place that you want to be or when it's no longer working for you. I also encourage anyone who's interested in getting insights into research practices to take a look at the open educational resource as well as the podcast Black-Liberation.Tech so that you can get an idea of the possibilities that are out there. I specifically went into qualitative research when it came to my dissertation. However, it was informed by the quantitative research that I studied along my way, and I wanted to know more. I wanted to know the stories behind the numbers that were saying things about my students and other students to get an understanding of the system that we were working within and what were they coming in contact with that either supported or hindered their progress. So I'm not saying that you have to look into my specific research methodologies that I used, but it can give you an idea of the possibilities and then hopefully encourage you to try out different things with the resources and data and opportunities that you have available to you to explore. If nothing else, you're welcome to listen to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast to hear my personal stories and reflections and think about your own life. I'm not trying to make carbon copies. I'm sharing so that people will know that other ways of living life are out there. And hey, sometimes you learn what you need to learn from others, what to do, what not to do, and perhaps get an understanding of how some other people make choices in terms of how they navigate what they're doing in life. While you're listening to my stories on the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast, I hope you explore how to personalize your own journey. You don't have to follow after someone else's footsteps. You can make your own footsteps and think about what you want to do along the way. Think about how you can get there. What are the questions that you need to ask? What are the things that you need to research for yourself? What happens behind the scenes that no one talks about out loud, if you will? You have to be on the inside crowd to learn certain behaviors as well as knowledge in order to navigate a space. And so, what are some ways that you can get in the places that will help you along your way? For me, when I was getting my PhD, it made all the difference that I was presenting in conferences, not only so I could get feedback on my work, but also so that I can engage in the questioning process as well. And as a reviewer, as a discussant, as a panel moderator, as a chair of a paper session, I was able to think about the work of others and the questions that I would ask if and when I read their paper and say, hey, you know what? Have you considered this, that, and the third? And by doing so, I not only helped them, but I helped myself because as I wrote my research, I had to ask myself questions to make sure that I was coming across clear. I also had to be in a place to receive feedback from others and not take it personal, but the questions were hopefully in a way that would help me consider how to make my research more clear to others. And at times, I do have to admit, I did have to defend my work and pretty much say, I have a place in space here. And in so doing, I was able to share out what others were not sharing. No one was doing the exact same work that I was doing. And as a result, I offered another perspective on after school programs. Now, the podcast and the website of Black-Liberation.Tech, they work hand in hand. I'm telling you my personal stories so that you can think about your own self and reflect on your own journey and even consider what you can share with others to help them along the way. Now, this website has structured lessons that you can follow, but you can also skip around. You can even do searches based on your interests to see what pops up and what you might want to explore further. So I want to encourage you once again to check out the Black-Liberation.Tech website. There's a lot that it can offer to you in terms of allowing you to personalize your own queries when it comes to checking out careers and designing your own projects to help you get to your next step. Furthermore, it can help you with your digital literacies as well as your tech skills. Now, who should listen to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast? Anybody who's interested in AI and prompt engineering. Think about the questions that I asked during the podcast. Think about the questions that are asked on the website. How can you modify them in order to fit your needs? And how can you even use them as an example and say, hey, I saw this prompt here. How can I change this prompt so that it fits what I want to do in X, Y, and Z? That's a prompt in and of itself. So feel free to copy, paste, edit, and do your own searches. But anyone who's interested in exploring prompt engineering, I do encourage you to listen to the podcast as well as check out the open educational resource. Now, in terms of grade levels, who should be listening and checking out the website? I say with a parent, middle school and high schoolers. So if you are a parent or a guardian, I would encourage you to listen to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast with your middle school or high schooler and then explore the site with them, meaning you are supervising, monitoring, working with them. Don't leave them by themselves with ChatGPT. That's like leaving them with a stranger. Make sure your presence is there so that you can get an idea of what is going on. And keep in mind, you do not want them to be oversharing, sharing personal information that can lead to identity theft. Anything that you would not email to a stranger, do not enter it into an AI platform. Make sure you are taking extra special care. It's like handing over information to a stranger because you are. There are people behind these platforms that are going to be able to learn from what you enter. So make sure what you're entering is okay and will keep you and your students safe. Now, in addition to parents or guardians monitoring the use of middle school and high schoolers' use of the Black-Liberation.Tech website, as well as the podcast, because you want to make sure that what your students are listening to agrees with your household and what you have set as priorities. I would also encourage undergraduate students and graduate students to check out the podcast as well as the website to see how it can help you along your way. I even have an episode that talks about AI for graduate research. Take a look at it. See how you can use AI to help facilitate your processes, not do them for you. It's a tool to help you along the way, and it's all about the questions you ask. But if you ask it to give you the answer, that's not helping the learning process. That's also not helping you along the way. The trick is, how can you get it to guide you to your own response, to your own answers? How can you get it to help dissect something down into smaller pieces that you can manage. Perhaps it's a project that you feel overwhelmed about. The example that I gave was about creating a literature review. And so I asked ChatGPT to generate questions to help someone who is trying to write a literature review. Did ChatGPT give me the literature review? No, it asked me questions so that while I'm reading or when I think about what I've read, how can I put that information together in a way that helps show to my reader as well as to myself my understanding of what's happening in and around a phenomenon. Who else should listen? Those who are exploring careers, those who are changing careers. If you are trying to figure out what it is that you want to do in this changing economy, this is something that can help you along your way. The website as well as the podcast. During the podcast, I share my story of how I changed careers. I stayed within the education frame, but I moved into different spaces and places. So I talk about how I went from being a accounts receivable, accounts payable representative at a property management company to a teacher, to an instructional technologist, to a grant administrator, and then to an associate director of operations, finances, and compliance. Now, did I go to school for that specifically? No, but as a result of my experience, my education, and my own curiosities, I was able to navigate moving into different places that also fed into my desire to see students get to where they want to go. And so hopefully, as a result of listening to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast and exploring the open educational resource, you can make parallels or contrasts and say, you know what? She was able to move into a space without having that exact experience. So it's possible for me to do the same. What skills can I develop on my own so that when I'm ready to move on to my next career choice or into the job market altogether, I will have the skills, the knowledge, the know-how in order to get there. With all that being said, I want to encourage you to check out the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast wherever podcasts are found, as well as the open educational resource, Black-Liberation.Tech. Thank you for tuning in to the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast, brought to you by Jordan Nuance LLC and hosted by Dr. Renée Jordan. We hope today's episode has inspired you and provided valuable insights to help you navigate your academic and professional journey with confidence and success. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, as well as rate and review the podcast to help it become more discoverable. Whether you're guiding a child through grades 6 through 12, tackling undergraduate or graduate studies, working on a dissertation or thesis, or exploring your career options, this podcast is here to support you every step of the way. Join our community on patreon.com/BlackLiberationTech and become a member for as low as $5 per month. As a member, you'll enjoy exclusive access to live recordings, impromptu academic and career coaching, and a network of like-minded individuals committed to mutual support and success. Don't forget to follow Black Liberation Tech on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Visit Black-Liberation.Tech for even more information on Dr. Jordan's adventures, available in both English and Spanish. Stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep moving forward. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.